continue to connect those dots, because we've started connecting the dots, and there's a lot of interlinkages and a lot of things that have been said. I might also be reiterating as well. That goes to show how important these conversations are. Before we go on, I would like to say, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies, gentlemen, delegates, civil society leaders, partners, and everybody joining us from around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I'd like to thank the Do the Dream YDI team for convening this timely dialogue, officially listed under the Commission for Social Development 64, at a time when the world is searching for policies that are not only ambitious, but implementable. Today, I speak on the theme that goes to the root of social development, and that is catalyzing energy justice for inclusive industrialization. So, let me begin by sharing a reality that is lived by a lot of communities on a daily basis across the global south. And it's a policy framework as well, and it's often treated as something on the peripheral, but it's very important. So just I'm painting a picture, so just try to imagine it as I'm saying it. You imagine a girl sits with a book, a textbook, a notebook after sunset. There's no light, there's no reliable power, and she has to learn. So learning becomes a negotiation because she has to borrow a candle or a kerosene lamp or a rechargeable lamp or a phone torch. And she can't use it effectively because it's expensive and it's uncertain. So there's light today, there's no light tomorrow. And when electricity is absent, everything even becomes harder for her, harder for the family, harder for the household, harder for her mother, because water takes longer for them to get to the house because they have to go to the stream to fetch water. Food takes longer to cook because they have to use a firewood or a stove or something to cook it. And then businesses close earlier, which people have already spoken to. And then clinics struggle because you can't even store your vaccines. You can provide 24 hours clinical service. And schools, well, you know what happens. We can only go to school during the day. So, and then you don't even have access to computers or internet or things like that. So, how is learning going to be current to what everybody is doing across the world? How do we foster innovation? But imagine her younger brother coming back from school and he has the opportunity to do all of these things because he is not saddled or burdened with the household chores or all the other things a girl is burdened with. So just have that picture at the back of your mind. So we need to be clear, right? Energy poverty is not only an infrastructure deficit, it is a social development failure. And when energy fails, it triggers a chain reaction across the very outcomes that commission exists to advance. This commission exists to advance. So it's education, it cuts across education, it cuts across decent work, poverty reduction, social inclusion, and dignity. And that is why the Commission for Social Development 64's priority theme of advancing social development and social justice through coordinated, equitable, and inclusive policies is inseparable from energy justice. And that's why it's very important that we're having this conversation. And when we speak about inclusive industrialization, we talk about it as though it happens in factories or industrial parks, but that's not the reality. Because where it begins in the learning systems that produce this talent. So if you don't have access to learning systems that are technologically advanced, that are current, that are up to date, then how do you industrialize your economy? It cuts across the micro enterprises that depend on electricity or energy for supply chains, and then the communities that must have reliable energy to participate in value creation. So if we're excluding these people from all of this because they have access to energy, how do you expect them to industrialize? And no country can industrialize at scale on unreliable power. No economy becomes competitive when SMEs cannot keep the lights on, when they can power their facilities, when they can power their production, when they can power whatever they're doing, then how do you keep development going? how do workforce become future ready when you can't even have schools that have access to the future of work, that have access to modern day technology, that have access to modern day innovation that is going on every single day? So you have students that are looking at ancient systems of innovation when they can leverage AI, when they can leverage technology to develop things that are cutting edge, that are state of the art. But because of their backward exposure to current realities, then it makes it difficult for them to develop. So energy justice is not charity. Energy justice is economic strategy for anybody, any country. And it must be designed not only for megawatts, but for people, especially those historically excluded from decision making in energy systems. So here's the core truth we can't ignore. Energy poverty is not gender neutral, although women and girls are the obvious shock absorbers of infrastructure failure because of their time poverty, because they when there's no light, then unpaid labor increases. You know what it's like. They have to go to the streams to fetch water. They have to look at how to get fuel. They have to do house chores manually. They have to sit down and wash clothes. When today have washing machines, you dump the clothes in the washing machine. You go 1 hour later, you come back, you dump it in the dryer. You come back in 2 hours and your clothes are ready. But today, a woman has to sit down and wash those clothes for hours. A woman that is in this day and age should be using her time for more productive things that will enhance her family, enhance the economy of her family, enhance the economy of herself, enhance the economy of a community, enhance the community of a nation. But she's saddled with manual labor. You can just begin to imagine how many hours is stolen from her. And look at health poverty as well. You have they rely on polluting fuels, like they use firewood to cook, and we all know the impact of that on women and girls. And we know cancer is a global problem today. And so these are part of the problems, and this is where some of the foundation of that comes from. Safety is also a problem because now they can't even move around because, like someone had said, they need street lights. Well, most of these communities don't even have electricity. How do they power their street lights? So they don't even have electricity in their homes. Then you want to talk about street lights. So how do they move about? Safety becomes a risk for girls because whenever they go out, they have to walk within the daylight time, which is also a serious access for them to services and barriers, and exposes them to unsafe conditions. Then opportunity is also, they also have a lack of access to opportunity because when energy is scarce, digital, and like I said already, is not available, modern skills become privileges. And creating an energy divide that mirrors and deepens the digital divide is very essential. So when we talk about social justice, we must say this plainly. A girl should not have to negotiate with just darkness to earn an education. I've said that before and I keep saying it because she's competing with darkness. She's competing with energy. She's competing with so many things. And I don't think she can win that competition if we don't take that darkness away from her, if we don't provide light for a girl to be able to learn, to be able to do the things that she should do easily. She should be able to do the things that comes easily to every other person. So please, a girl should not have to negotiate with darkness to earn an education or to earn a livelihood. And that is why today we must connect whatever we're speaking today at this Commission of Social Development to what we're going to be talking about at the CSW 70 in New York next month. Because our theme is centered on access to justice for all women and girls, including eliminating discriminatory laws and addressing structural barriers. And so energy justice is access to justice because you cannot claim justice where girls cannot safely study at night. You cannot claim justice when women's labor is multiplied by system failure. You cannot claim justice where poverty persists because communities lack the power to produce, to learn, and to earn. So energy justice is not going to be a side event at the CSW, but a structural justice issue, and it must be treated as such. And that's why we're going to be hitting at the theme of today's event, which is advancing linear and non-linear pathways to skill girls in energy. For decades, development model has treated girls as beneficiaries. They train them, they empower them, and they include them. But the future demands a different model. Girls must move from beneficiaries to architects. And why is that? Because they have the lived intelligence. A girl understands what her daily energy friction points are. And then when people are planning this for them without having that experience, they don't even know where to start from. They're going to be designing solutions that don't solve their problems. And then girls help design solutions better so they know how to adopt it better because there's a lot of trust as well. And people would take it uptake it better because it's coming from one of them. So when you have half of the population excluded, then you have a serious problem. And then it also helps us develop a pipeline of talent. Because when you're looking at the clean economy, you can exclude half of the population as well. So we need to become architects of our future. We need to become the designers of the future that work for us. So we cannot be sitting on the sidelines. We need to be at the front and center of developing solutions that work for us as women and girls. And that is what the Girls in Energy platform is designed to do, to build a pipeline, not a publicity moment. You must remember that. A pipeline that connects education to skills, skills to enterprise, and enterprise to leadership, and leadership to policy influence. Because when we have a seat at the table, we're able to influence policy. We're able to have a say in matters that affect us, in matters that influence our life, and we're able to make laws that support women and girls. Because inclusive industrialization requires more than infrastructure, it requires human capacity at scale. So let me speak directly to all our partners, to all our sponsors, to all philanthropic organizations here, to multilaterals, and to the private sector that is here today. If you're serious about inclusive industrialization and social justice in the global south, here is a high-level investment for you, which is creating catalytic funding for girls in energy to build scalable pathways that girls and women at the center of energy value chains. So it's not about performance, we're talking impact here. We're talking about how we can help girls in the global south by raising this catalytic funding. And when we say catalytic funding, you know how important catalysts are. Catalysts speed up reactions. So we want to accelerate the process. We want to leapfrog the development of girls, of communities, of women in the global south. And we can't do it alone. We need every single actor, we need every single stakeholder to come together as a force, because when you want to break a stick as a single stick, it's breakable. But when you pull a bunch of stick, it's almost impossible to break it. So we all need to come together and look at the ways we can collaborate. And some of the ways we can do that is energy education and skills. We can fund curriculum, labs, digital learning, technical training. We can look at innovation and enterprise lane, fund girl-led prototypes, micro enterprises, incubation and market access for girls and women, community energy enablement projects. You can have support community scale energy solutions that unlock productivity and learning outcomes. And then finally, we can look at policy and systems, which is support evidence generation, convenience, and governance pathways that translate innovation into structural change. So these are pathways that we're giving our partners to enable them access measurable social return on investment tied to education and livelihoods. These are impacts that are not performance-based, but like Olumadewa had said, tied to evidence-based results, impact that you can measure. You can go into a community and not just say, we've built a solar energy solution that is not functioning, that has broken down, and nobody in the community knows how to fix it. But we're building solutions that have taken into account the women, the girls, and they're able to also continue to scale those projects and to scale the development and to scale the empowerment solutions that are coming from it on a level that transcends not just their community, that creates a ripple effect that just not just impacts their community, but impacts communities that are around them, that puts them on a global scale stage, that enables them to bring their products, their services, their resources, and showcase it on a global platform. And only with energy access would they be able to achieve these things. So we need you all to take a front row seat in shaping the next generation workforce for the clean energy economy. And before I go, I want you to remember this. In the industrialization without energy justice is extraction and it's not development. And social development without girls is an incomplete design. If we want inclusive industrialization, we must electrify learning. If we want social justice, we must remove structural barriers that force girls to live smaller lives. And if we want lasting change, we must invest in girls, not as symbols of the future, but as builders of the future. So, Commission for Social Development 64 sets the direction. And the event at the CSW 70 is the global inflection point for us. And Girls in Energy is the vehicle to translate commitments into outcomes. We're going from words to action. I've been going for UN Assembly for the past 5 years, and every time it's talk, talk, talk. It's time to take action, and that action starts with every single person on this call today. We need to go step away from silos and fragmented development. We need to come together as a force that is able to impact on a global scale, on a scale that has never, ever, ever been experienced before, because you can't do it alone. If we want to go far, we would have probably started doing something. But no, we want to go far. We want to advance the SDG goals at the global south. We want to advance it in every single community that we can have access to, because we know that once we're able to empower one community, it's going to have a ripple effect, and it's going to enable millions and millions and millions of people that are currently unable to have access to life, because they say energy is life. So this is giving these people opportunity to have access to life. So I invite you, strategic partners, sponsors, and allies, to join us in New York for CSW 70 and to join us beyond the CSW to scale the Girls in Energy across the global south. Because energy is not only what turns on the bulb, but energy is what turns on a future, is what turns on our future and our development on our world. So thank you so much for listening to me, and I look forward to collaborating with you on scaling the Girls in Energy project. Thank you.
Amazing. 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 Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Page, for, putting it all together and just kind of wrapping it all together to that call to action. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to do it now, and we're going to go far. And that's what's going to happen. Thank you so much for calling us to action. I know it's been so very impactful 85 minutes, but we're coming to the end of our meeting today. But before we wrap up, before I invite Adebusi for the vote of thanks, I'd like to see if we have one question. I think we might just have room for one question. So I don't know if anyone in the room has a question to either one of the speakers, to the organizers, or anyone on this call. We'll be able to take one question. So
I was just wanting to know if we could take a big picture of everybody. Everybody
yes,
can come off camera and we take a screenshot. You guys come off camera. Let's get a group picture.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, let's go. Okay.
How do we put that together?
I could do it if everybody comes off camera, and I could
All right, if you could do it, yeah, great.
Yeah, I'll do a
See everybody's
screenshot.
faces.
So I'm gonna do a screenshot. I've got pretty decent amount of us. All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're looking good. Okay. I will send it to you guys. That was my question.
Awesome. Thank you. So do we have, I think your hand was the only hand I saw up. But we still have, I guess, 2 minutes before we do the vote of thanks. I don't know if anybody has any other question.
I don't have any questions, but I would love to say it was an awesome session filled with so much energy. Let's light up the world, like Lady Bless said. It was amazing. Thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Truly amazing, Sarah. Dr. Paige Adabusi, hola, thank you. It was amazing. So filled with so much energy. Magic. Have a magical day, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, we're lighting it up.
Yeah,
We are lighting
seriously.
it up.
Woo!
Let's
And
light
you
it
bring
up.
magic too.
Energy.
Amen.
All right. I do have one final hand up. From Mr. Tony. Mr. Tony, go ahead with your question. Make it brief if you can. Are you there?
Okay, thank you very
All right.
much for the opportunity.
Go ahead.
On a quick one, I'm joining you from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm the president of Child Rights and Implementation Foundation. I just want to draw the Commission's attention to the plight of the deficit of electricity in Nigeria. Though we're talking about the opportunity we need to give to the girl child, I must say, I'm not sounding to pessimistic, but with the reality, with the stark reality right here in Nigeria, it is going to be a far cry to be talking about lighting up the girl child when even the father is not light up, the mother is not light up. Everywhere is darkness. And even before I came on board, I have to use this is my power bank. And the little light that is on is through my solar panel. It's quite expensive. I'm doing a weekly payment on my solar installation, which I have about 1.5 million naira, to complete my payment. I can say in Nigeria, less than 10% of the population of Nigeria has access to electricity. So it's high time we hold government responsible. While we interface with government agencies or representative diplomats in various UN conferences, we need to hold this government representative accountable. There should be a sort of pressure be mounted. Let them be accountable. What is the energy provision? What is the rate of energy service you have for your citizens? You don't just come to UN meeting and begin to talk like one of the speakers that said in most of our UN meeting. Like I was in Sevilla last year at the finance and the finance development sort of. I was supposed to be in Qatar, but I couldn't make it. But at the end of this, all this need to be translated into reality. We need to have the impact of what the policy of the UN is. And when this impact is not being noticed, forum like this need to hold these government agencies who are responsible to at least provide some certain level of development. At least then the non-actors can collaborate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tony. Thank you for those comments. A lot of what we've talked about today, right? We've talked about public-private, aspect of it. So we're very, very aware of the situation, but we have chosen to be the change, right? With the right perspective, the right collaboration. We're very, very excited and very hopeful and very positively hopeful that what we're doing is going to drive the change that we all need for both the girl child and the women. I mean, like Dr. Page mentioned, helped us understand the impact of when the girls are in this a part of the equation, it does have a lasting effect and even a much broader effect on everyone else. So thank you for noting that, and we've taken that note. I don't know if anybody has any additional comment before we wrap up.
Yes, can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to reassure Tony that when we talk about women and girl child and the youth, it's just a narrative. we are including everyone. I speak about community. Sometimes in a community, you cannot empower the women without empowering the men also. And you're absolutely right. If the men are also in darkness, the women are in darkness because the men, of course, are the provider, especially in a home. So you're absolutely right. So we do a lot of community empowerment. So within that, we are able to empower the whole family. We're not just going to say we're going to empower the women, but when we talk the specific girl child and women child, women and girls are the one in the kitchen. So we have to empower them with clean cooking, right? So you as the man could eat. And the respiratory issue within these kitchens with the charcoal and the fuel that they use affects the women and the girls more. So it's not that we are forgetting about men. I love men. I'm a man advocate. I advocate for men in every aspect. But sometimes I know it feels like men are falling through the hole, like they're being left out. But you guys, we cannot do anything without the support of men. And if we talk about the grids in Nigeria, doing my research, I found out that a lot of the electrical grids in Nigeria were put in place during colonial time. And at that particular time, those grids was only for the colonial masters. It was only to give them the comfort of electricity, to give them the comfort of power. So right now we have a country that as it's over extending the grid that was only put in place for a small amount of the population that's no longer there. So they would have to overhaul the whole grid system in Nigeria to provide 24 electricity to even the small population, say Lagos, Abuja, Victoria Island, Banana Island. They would have to really put the money that they're spending on private jet coming to the UN. When I see Nigeria at the UN, I'm like, I'm just go looking for Nguzi soup and pounded yam because I know it will be there. You understand? So the money that 20 of them are coming and staying at the Manilian Hotel, that's $5,000 to $6,000 a night. Trust me. And instead of walking across the street to the UN, they will take their cars and go 1 block up, 4 blocks over, and 2 blocks up to go to the UN. They need to prioritize electricity. Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Love Nigerians. However, the government need to prioritize and get the priorities straight. Those grids need a complete overhaul. But Tony, we love you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate your comment. I will keep that in mind, that we can light up the women if the men are in darkness. Thank you for that. Have a great day.
Thank you, Lady Be Blessed. Over to you, Adebusi. Well said.
Thank you, everyone. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. And I want to thank all the speakers, and also we just got a confirmation from the Honorable Commissioner. They have an urgent assignment with the Kano State Governor, so I was unable to join us. So next session is going to be part of it. So I want to thank all the speakers, from our Vice President Olaolu Yinka for moderating this wonderful session, to electrifying session from Mr. Yemi Oyebisi, Mr. Oyebisi Olusheyi. Lady Be Blessed, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. Sarah Noel, awesome, thank you for showing up. And every other personality, and our own indefatigable Dr. Page for lighting up the event again with a wonderful and electrifying presentation. Thank you so much for joining this official side event. We celebrate you, and we also want to use this medium to invite you to partner with Do the Dream Girls in Energy Project for our CSW high-level side event happening during the 16th of March 2026 in New York on this wonderful project, harnessing the value of girls in energy for the Global South, and being chaired by Dr. Page. It's going to be awesome. It's giving us opportunity to light up all the communities in Global South, one after the other. And we believe with joint hands, we can achieve the unimaginable and we can turn on the switch on the global south. And also to Mr. Kelvin, thank you so much for sharing that. We understand your concern and definitely all those who will put in maximum place. And we want to thank all those who stayed to the end and all the participants. Thank you so much for giving your time and thank you for joining us and thank you for the part of this wonderful history. Again, see you next year. Thank you so much and God bless you all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone. Bye, everyone. Well done to everybody. Well done to the team. And thank you for joining us. Looking forward to see you on next month in about a month here in New York. Bye.
Have a
Bye.
great
Bye.
day.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, great session, great people.